Wait for benchmarks. The Snapdragon X Elite's release was always going to be interesting. On one hand, the company was promising a seemingly miraculous leap in performance and efficiency, all from a brand new architecture that looked to bring Apple-tier silicon to Windows laptops. But on the other hand, since they were promising so much, if it failed to deliver, then it would at least still be fun to point and laugh at them for lying, and then never to trust them again. I always say wait for benchmarks, not because I'm some all-knowing being, but because I'm not. Plus, it's the actual benchmarks and intricacies of a new product that I find a lot more interesting than all the pre-release rumours and hype anyway. But I have to admit, even I was looking at Qualcomm's pre-release performance slides and thinking, surely this product has got to be good, because why would they promise all this stuff if they couldn't deliver on at least some of it? They went on about this thing for the best part of a year, some slides promising major leaps in performance, others huge jumps in efficiency. We heard so much about this product, in seemingly so much depth. But what we got was always from Qualcomm itself, which, as the company making this product, isn't exactly the most unbiased source for such information. What was more concerning for me was when release date came and then went, and the reviews for it only started trickling out, with the first of them failing to compare the product in any meaningful way with Intel and AMD counterparts. Which to me suggests that Qualcomm and Microsoft are being difficult with reviewers in some way. But now I'm starting to think it's probably also just because it's a radically new product with lots of difficult teething issues, and it's hard to quantify its value as a working product that you'd actually want to buy and use. So yeah, those pre-release slides, even if true under certain situations, don't seem to have much real-world application just yet. So let's learn from this release and to apply some extra cynicism to future product releases. Let's not give clickbait rumour mills the attention they crave, and let's boldly hold off judgment about new products until actual benchmarks for them are available. I don't know why I'm saying this, because I know people aren't going to change their behaviour, but this product release will at least be a nice example to use for why you shouldn't trust pre-release stuff. Even now, a few days after release, I'm still a little bit fuzzy on how good the Snapdragon X Elite actually is. Normally with a new product, it's as simple as comparing 4 to 5 different reviews and seeing how much they agree and disagree about different aspects of the product. But it seems like there's so much here to unpack. It's a new ARM-based architecture, a new NPU and GPU, together with the difficulties in emulation and compatibility with Windows, and of course, the wholly misleading pre-release promises, which have all combined to make this one very difficult product to assess. Also, there are different variants of it as well, but... And to add to that, there still aren't many reviews to go on, so we're still waiting for benchmarks. If their intention was just to hype up their processors before launch, then they certainly managed it. Who hasn't heard of them at this point? But this post-release review fog of war has taken all the hype out of its release for me. If the products were disappointing, then that would at least be something. But what we get instead is one benchmark where it's shown crushing everything, then another where it gets soundly beaten, one where it appears to match an Apple product, then gaming benchmarks where it refuses to load a bunch of the games. Compound the confusion with forgettable product segmentation names, trouble measuring battery life and power draw in laptops, and you're left with a massive question mark over these processors. A question mark that would make me very wary about recommending them to people in its current state. It's clear to me that reviewers simply didn't have enough time to get the reviews done before release day. Tom's Hardware set up a live blog where they were testing them out, which I was holding on to in the hope that it would become a proper in-depth guide that would investigate the intricacies and complications with these new chips. And what's here is very interesting, but unfortunately it seems like they gave up on this whole thing a day after starting it. Such a shame. I am so bitterly disappointed with this whole release because no product should sell from hype alone, and it feels like Qualcomm and Microsoft are pushing these products so hard that they've forgotten to cater for anybody who actually wants to know what they're getting. Even when making this video, I feel like I must have missed something obvious because there still clearly isn't enough information about these chips to make a firm conclusion about them, and my attempts to learn about them are being further obstructed by stuff like this. Here I was thinking I found a new review, titled it in a way that sounds like it's come to a firm conclusion about the product. But it's not. It's just a pre-release hype video about Snapdragon in a video paid for by Snapdragon. Obsoleting Intel and AMD indeed. I wonder how those companies feel about their treatment here. It's kind of funny, kind of sad that early adopters of Intel's first generation of processors with AI support will immediately find them obsoleted by failing to hit the requirements to run Microsoft's Copilot Plus features. And even AMD's chips, which do reach the required spec, will still have to wait until sometime after their release before Windows will support them. Yet Snapdragon? Available on release day. But the features are in such a limited and broken state, you're not currently missing out on much. Ignoring the X Elite's marketing, the product itself reminds me a lot of Intel's Arc series of graphics card. It's promising, but flawed. With Intel's Arc cards, it was a brand new design of graphics card and the immature drivers were clearly at fault, and were expected to be. But with the Snapdragon, it's less certain whether it's the hardware's design or Windows ARM implementation that's to blame, and we don't know how much both of these things will be able to improve, nor how long it will take to do so. So we can only really judge it for what it is in its current state. But as with Intel's Arc graphics, it's probably best to avoid these problems by waiting for the second generation of products, which, if you've been caught up in all the hype, is a difficult pill to swallow. There's one way in which this release deviates from Intel's Arc cards. In order to make up for its teething issues, Intel priced their first generation of cards extremely competitively, whereas the Snapdragon X Elite is still trying to pass as a premium product that its inconsistent performance really can't justify. That's the issue I see here. You're taking a huge gamble right now by choosing this product over the competition, all seemingly in the hope that it will get better in some way. I blame the marketing more than the product itself here. But at least it's out. And despite their best efforts to mar the launch, it is still very exciting to have a new competitor in this market. I would expect problems with their first generation of CPU, NPU and GPU, but the fact it's out and it kind of works, and it's kind of okay and even competitive in some aspects, is a huge win for Qualcomm, who have built some foundations for themselves, and indeed the rest of the industry, to build upon. And who knows, this first generation of product might also eventually become great as well. But maybe it won't. But until then, it seems the Snapdragon X Elite fails to live up to the expectations it promised. I thought I'd find this entertaining, but instead I'm just disappointed, because I would have loved for it to be some kind of game-changing product that kicked the rest of the industry into gear. What sucks about this is that before release I was saying wait for benchmarks, and now the products are actually out and benchmarks are available, I'm still not satisfied with what I see. I feel like I'm still waiting for benchmarks.